It is such an honor for me to be able to introduce my good friend and a good friend of our community, our governor, Governor Brian Kemp. But this is not about me. This is about a person, the man that loves Georgia, a man who loves and cares for all Georgians, who has been accessible to all. He has been attending events in the Indian American community since 2007. He has appointed 20 plus Indian Americans to the most senior positions in government based on merit. It is said that you judge a man by his character. Yes. And I gotta tell you, during COVID, there were some very difficult times for everyone. But we were the first to open, the first state to open in the country. Well, that decision didn't come easily. There were three things that led up to that decision. The first thing that this governor did was he listened to hardworking Georgians. The second thing he did was he reaffirmed what he believed when he went home and talked to our awesome First Lady. And then the most important thing that he did was he got together with his family and he prayed to make the right decision. If you want a governor that is compassionate, that believes in reaffirmation and is deep in his faith, you have to look no further than Brian Kemp. The other thing I want to tell you is when we talk about a man's character, during some of the 2020 elections, I know that there were some difficult times. And I had reached out to the governor just to offer a lending hand, a shoulder. And, you know, despite all the difficulties he was going through, I got to vouch for one thing. And that one thing is that he never said one thing negative about the governor, about the president. If that doesn't tell you about this man's character, I don't know what does. There are over 40 mandirs. There are Sikh gurudwaras. There are Jain temples that are here. And we all celebrate Diwali, and we all wanted the governor to be present. And clearly he couldn't go to all of them. But today he said, I want to make sure that I come personally and wish everyone, the entire community, a happy Diwali and a happy New Year to those that are celebrating. Without further ado, please help me welcome our 83rd governor and soon to be our 84th governor, Governor Brian Kemp. I'd like to request the governor to please light the ceremonial diya.
Happy Diwali!
In the spirit of Diwali, in the spirit of Indian tradition, I have also brought for the governor some sweets. Governor, I hope you enjoy these sweets, and I hope that our relationship between you, your office, and our community remains as sweet as it has been for the last 15 plus years that you've been around in state government. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Rick, and happy Diwali to everyone. Happy New Year. let me take a moment just to wish you joy and peace in the days ahead. I'm so grateful for so many friends and members of the Indian American community, but also our great supporters in this part of the state for being here with us today. I'm honored to be here with the greatest First Lady in the country and one of our first daughters, Amy Porter. And I just want to tell you all how optimistic I am about the future of our state. Despite what we're seeing in our country right now with 40-year high inflation, high gas prices, a disaster at the border, and a federal government that wants to hire 87,000 new IRS agents rather than securing the border, in Georgia we have so much to be thankful for. And thankfully we said no. We said no to everything that Stacey Abrams has said yes to, especially during the pandemic. You know, when I reopened the economy, as Rick was talking about, the first state in the country to do that, took the most criticism for it. It was she that was saying, no, you shouldn't do that. But we were protecting lives, but we also knew we had to protect livelihoods, to protect the values of our families and their economic freedom and prosperity. And we pushed to get our kids back in the classroom, which is where the data and the science and the Biden administration and the Trump administration said they needed to be. Stacey Abrams criticized us for that. But we didn't listen to her. We said, no, this is the right thing to do because we were fighting for you and for your family and for your children. We cannot thank our educators enough. And when Stacey Abrams was saying yes to defunding the police, yes to ending cash bail, and yes to serving on boards that were paying her, that were spreading the narrative and propaganda of the defund the police movement, we said no to that. Because we are going to stand with our men and women in law enforcement to keep our communities safe. And that is what people in this community and people all over our state and all over our country want leaders to do. They want them to make tough decisions in the tough times. And I just cannot thank the members of the General Assembly, some who are here, some who will be serving in the future, for standing with us on those decisions to help fight for the soul of our state. And we have been fighting for Georgia families, even when others in Washington, D.C. were not. To help you deal with 40-year high inflation, last legislative session, we voted to support sending $1 billion of your tax money back to you to put into your pocket. To help you deal with 40-year high inflation when you go to the grocery store. We have suspended the gas tax since March to help you fight through high prices at the pump. Last year, during the legislative session, because we were open in our state, when Stacey Abrams didn't want us to be, we had excess revenues and a great business environment and 2 record years of economic development in a row. And it allowed us to work with the General Assembly to pass the largest state income tax cut in Georgia history just this last year during a pandemic. But we also have to be a party of the future, and we have to be for something. That's what I tell people all the time. Elections are about the future. They're about where people think our state is going. Are you optimistic about where our state is going? Well, I am. And that's why, after you re-elect me and put people like Bruce Thompson in the Labor Commissioner's office and a lot of other great members of the General Assembly that are either here or running, we're going to give you another $1 billion of your taxpayer money back to help you continue fighting through the 40-year high Biden inflation. These are the policies that Stacey Abrams embraced when she supported Joe Biden for president. These are the policies she embraced when she campaigned to be his vice presidential nominee. But we're going to do more than that, because our economy was open when others weren't, because our business environment is so good and our revenues have been so great, and because we have one-time money, because our citizens were so resilient. You all were so resilient. We know property values are going up in our state, which means your property taxes are going up. And not every local government is rolling the millage rate back to help offset the new tax. We're going to help you afford that. We're going to give another $1 billion back in a one-time property tax relief grant. We believe that'll save the average homeowner between 15 and 25%. Again, the leaders in the state of Georgia helping our citizens fight through disastrous policies that have caused 40-year high inflation in our country and in this state that we're all having to deal with. Our families are dealing with it. Our small businesses are dealing with it. We're also going to put more money into education like we have been doing, to help with learning loss, to help with our teacher pipeline, to make sure that we have the right amount and the right teachers in the classroom, continuing to focus and put more money where our mouth is in regards to school security, training our school resource officers to make sure that we're keeping our kids, our teachers, and our administrators safe in the classroom. And you have my commitment that I will continue to be focused on keeping Georgia the best state in the country for business. Just a few weeks ago, we announced the 9th year in a row, unprecedented, the best state in the country for business. We're going to continue working on that in the days ahead, to make sure that everyone, no matter your zip code, no matter your neighborhood, has economic opportunity in our state. And that's exactly what we've seen under the Kemp administration and Republican leadership by the great folks that are here with me and many that are not. We had 2 record years in a row for economic development. Record year for jobs. This past year, we shattered last year's record, $21.2 billion of investment, 386 different projects that we worked. The two of them were the largest in state history in the same year that I had the honor of announcing with Hyundai and Rivian. Over 51,000 new jobs coming to our state with all those projects, literally in all parts of our state. No matter where you live in Georgia, you can have economic opportunity in the future. And I believe that your children will have economic opportunity in this state, and I believe that our grandchildren will as well, because of the investments that we have made in this state when many other governors had their state locked down. They had their kids in a basement instead of the classroom. And they were talking about what a great idea it was to defund the police. But that's why we need your help. I would urge you, if you have not helped us financially, Stacey Abrams has raised 90% of her war chest. It's a lot more than we got outside the state of Georgia. From places like California and New York and Chicago, people trying to bring their values to our state with their money through her. We have to fight back against that. So go to BrianKemp2022.com. If you can make even a small contribution, it will help us offset the California, New York money. But let me tell you this. Who's got the most money doesn't win the race. The person that has the most votes, over 50%, wins the race. That's where we want to be. And we can only get there with your help. So do not underestimate your individual ability to get the vote out. We're not asking you to move mountains. We're just asking you to make sure that your family is voting. Make sure that your friends are voting. People that you're working with or worshiping with, make sure that they're going to the polls. If they've made up their mind, tell them to go tomorrow if anybody's having Sunday voting in the county you live, or go Monday. That will help get you off the board. We won't text you anymore. We won't send you any mail pieces. And if you don't watch TV like I don't, you won't see any commercials. But y'all help us get the vote out. Again, happy Diwali. God bless you, and let's keep chopping, everybody.